if you are able to identify in real time what branch is the most suitable for you, instead of maybe going to the nearest branch to you, and for whatever reason that branch is not available at the moment, or is quite busy, or it can attend you as you expected, to having all that information to make the right decision, for us is a value.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of CX Insider. In today's episode, Greg and I talked to two guests, Jorge Fernandez, who is a service specialist, and Javier Diaz, project delivery manager. Both of them work for Santander Global Technology and Operation Division based in Madrid. Today we talked about IoT, Internet of Things with the application in banking, the future of retail banking, and sustainability. Enjoy the episode and let us know what you think on social media. By the way, this podcast is sponsored by ACF Technologies, global leaders in customer experience management solutions.
Hi, everyone. First of all, we would like to thank you, Valentina, Greg, Marcel, for inviting us to be part of this initiative, which we think is great to have this sort of initiative to talk about technology, trends, our day-to-day. So thanks a lot for having us today. If it is okay with you, I would like to do a quick introduction of ourselves. Jorge Fernandez and myself, Javier Diaz. We work for Santander. We belong to we are in the Technology and Operation Division. And a part of that, we are responsible for developing and implementing end-to-end solutions to our customers worldwide, using the latest technologies possible, and also using the best methodology that we can apply. Not just traditional waterfall methodologies, but also we are using agile technologies and methodologies where they are applicable. Also, as part of our job, we have to help our customers to define and maintain their IT strategy. For example, when a technology becomes obsolete, we are responsible for helping them to change that technology in a short period of time and trying to make as small impact as possible in their business. Okay. Jorge and myself, we have mostly focused in retail banking, trying to have our processes within the branch as efficient as possible, and also trying to have the best customer experience possible. Recently, we have organized internally in Center of Excellence. We belong to the Full Stack Center of Excellence. We are trying to leverage all the benefits that a Center of Excellence can provide to our customer, not just solutions as we are doing already, but also exploring new technologies, new frameworks, new methodologies, all of this in order to help them to have improving their business as much as possible. And as I said, it's a pleasure to be here today. So Jorge, if you want to add something yourself.
Well, yeah. Also, thanks to all of you for inviting us to this podcast. And as Javi has said, the reason why we are here is that during this year, we organized a Banking of Things Forum event when we try to explain to all the members of Santander how IoT can help in our banking processes, what IoT is, and how it can be used in our banking business. So the things that we are doing right now, we are trying to foster the use of IoT in banking, which is not something really easy because sometimes we need some blockages from people. You need always changing your mind and your business is complicated. But we're really, really focused on that. So hopefully during this last year, we will develop this new concept of Banking of Things.
And you guys are based in Madrid, right? Or within Madrid.
Yeah.
Have you
That's
both
right.
lived there
Yeah.
for a long time? Have you always lived there?
Yeah, well, from my part, I've been living here all my life, only 3 years I've been living there in Milton Keynes. I've been working for Santander UK for 3 years. So it was like a small period of my life I've been living there in UK. But after that, I returned again to Madrid and I started to work again for Santander Bank.
I also spent 7 years working in Ireland for a software company. And after that, I moved to Madrid and been there since.
And how does
Working for Santander.
And how does Milton Keynes compare to Madrid?
Well, that's a tricky question. You can imagine, no, it's
Sure.
quite different, Well, I enjoyed a lot,
Yeah.
when I was living there. It's a big difference. It's a small city compared with Madrid. Madrid is a big, big mess. In fact, I live in the outskirts of Madrid because I don't like, all these noisy cities and all the traffic jams and all those things. So I prefer to have a different quality of life. So for me, it's not a big issue living in Milton Keynes. In fact, I enjoy it a lot. And I have to say that I love the country. I love UK. I think it has amazing places to visit. And not only London, all the people is always thinking you have to go to UK, you have to visit London, for sure. But there are so many places that you also have to visit there in UK that are really, really amazing. So for me, it was a marvelous experience.
The concept of IoT was born at the beginning of the 21st century. Around 2000, industry leaders started experimenting with connected devices. In June 2000, LG introduced their first connected device, refrigerator. Since then, IoT started being integrated in many different industries. Fast forward to the present day, between 2021 and 2026, IoT in the banking market is expected to grow at compound annual growth rate of 18.58%. Despite the wide application of this concept, many people might not be sure what opportunities and risks IoT entails.
As you said, Greg, before explaining what banking of things is, we need to stop and say, what exactly is Internet of Things? We need to understand first what Internet of Things is, because at the end of the day, banking of things is an extension of it. Internet of Things is about interconnecting devices, normal devices, everyday devices, that we have in our life around us. These devices are interconnected, sharing, first of all, collecting data, sharing this data, and allowing us to, based on that massive amount of data, to make decisions both in real time and also after some period of time. In both cases, this gathering of data allows us to have better processes, better customer experience. If we talk, for example, about banking, now we will talk about banking of things term, but the main idea is all this gathering of information will give us a better position to make decisions, and we can see that around our lives. In many sectors like industry, sports, food, health, etc. Banking of things, as I said, is just an extension of Internet of Things. Is applying this concept in banking in order to improve our processes, improve the experience our customer have. And I would say that the reason why we are exploring banking of things is because we really believe that can make a difference in our banking processes, in some of them at least,
Yeah. Well, in fact, I think that adding to what Javi has said before, I think that something that's really important is that we need to understand that even having all this data that all the devices can provide, it makes no sense if we don't extract any value from this data. The Internet of Things is not so much a technology, it's more a concept that tries to digitalize the physical world in order to generate new value. And this value can be created in many different ways. I mean, by product improvement, operational efficiency, a better customer experience. And therefore, what we have to have clear is, what would you want to generate? So the real thing for this is the value that we get with this Internet of Things. So it's critical. The key is the value. It's always that critical. We can use a lot of devices, we can collect a lot of data, but what's really critical is this, is the use that we do with those data. As an example that I could say about this, my brother-in-law lives in Canary Island, and he's been growing tomatoes, I think, for 20 years ago. The first time that I went there and I visit the greenhouses that they have there, it was amazing because, and it was 20 years ago, he was using a lot of sensors. Obviously, they were not connected by a Wi-Fi or 5G, they were connected by a wire, but he was able 20 years ago to know exactly the humidity, the nutrients that the plants have, and with all computer, he was able to program everything to give to the food what the food really needs. So what is important in this case, for this farmer and my brother-in-law, is not all those data that comes, in a big amount and you say, oh, come on, I'm getting a lot of the data. No, it's the value that he gets with those data. I mean, the value for him is that his tomatoes grow big, with a lot of flavor, a lot of savor, okay, all those things. That's what's really, really important. So the key is the value. That's what we really need to provide with this Internet of Things. And as Javier has said before, there are other places and other industries that are also making use of IoT. For example, I don't know if you like Formula One, but with all those telemetric systems, they don't only know what is happening in the car, they also can change in real time the car behavior. So they can improve. So that's the thing. The thing is what's the value that those data gives to us. As a curious example, in this event, one of the companies that was talking there said that they are also using hydrophones in brown farms, because they know that the more they talk, the better they grow. So it's really amazing, So what is really important, as we have said before, is the value. Okay, so that's what we think we should focus on this.
I love that. And I think that's part of this whole conversation, because Internet of Things, banking of things, like you say, is the immediate access to data. But it comes down to what you both said, which is how you use that data. Do you use it in the moment, or do you use it for future decisions?
Yeah.
And that sounds like farming of things. So we might have to coin that term as farming of things today. But we might invite your brother-in-law on to give his perspective later on. But that's a fantastic story. And actually, that is, I guess, the same concept. That's the same theory. It's using that data in real time to make decisions for the now and for the future.
Looking at the banking of things through the lens of customer experience, how does the interconnectivity of different devices improve CX?
Well, I think that one of the devices that has been using Internet of Things in banking is the ATM. ATMs, since a long time ago, has been connected and sharing data. A lot of data that are used by business, but not known by the customer. Okay? But we would like to move forward on this. We would like to do a new step on this, and we would like to start to use this banking of things in the branch. So we believe that the future will feature a new model of connected branch. We talk a lot about this during our banking forums. In our banking forum. And our idea is that we would like to equip our branches with some kind of devices that once the user enters into the branch, it's automatically recognized. Okay, so, and things can happen that will improve their user experience. Okay, imagine that you get into the branch, you have do an enrollment process of your facial biometric pattern, and when you enter in your branch, you imagine that you have an automatic queue system, so you can get your ticket automatically, and you can do your check-in automatically when you arrive. That's something that will also improve this behavior. Okay, more things. So we also want to use our biometric patterns for other things. For example, we would like to use them to do a cash withdrawal. right now there are a lot of companies, doing some kind of R&D in all this finger vein, palm vein, and all those things. And we would like to add this to our customer experience. Okay. Regarding the ATMs that we have said before, we would like to add to our ATMs of a new functionality that allows them to know via an application, but in real time, if an ATM in a specific branch is working. Because right now, what they know is that there is an ATM there. But sometimes you go to the branch, but it would have been vandalized. It could be, broken. It could be offline. It could have been out of money. So the thing is that you can get that information online. So you avoid to go to a specific branch if you don't know exactly that it is working there. Okay? And what else we could know with that? Also, we could check in the branch how many people is right now in that branch. So depending on the number of people that it's in that moment in that branch, you could decide to go to a branch or to another one, even if it's farther from where you are right now, because you're going to be attended in a less time. And these are some use cases that we are working with regarding with branches.
This is a concept that we in the event that we have a couple of months ago, we known as the connected branch. We want to see it as a branch where the customer or the non-customer and the branch are somehow connected, so the experience of them can be much better than it is at the moment, because they will be able to gather information that will allow them to make decisions. Again, IoT and banking of things is about making decisions based on data. So these decisions will allow them to have possibly a better experience at the branch. For example, Jorge has mentioned a couple of things. If you are able to identify in real time what branch is the most suitable for you, instead of maybe going to the nearest branch to you, and for whatever reason that branch is not available at the moment, or is quite busy, or it can attend you as you expected, to having all that information to make the decision, the right decision, for us is a value.
In fact, it's also going to be valuable for the branch staff, because they will also know when they arrive to the branch, and they can go there and be faster and go with a personalized products, info, whatever that the user really requires,
And as Jorge mentioned, another key concept for us, Greg and Valentina, is that our body should be our ID. Okay, we should go to that scenario where we should be able to identify ourselves within the branch, because we're talking about the branch, with some part of our body, and after that, the branch should be able to provide us with information to do with us, particularly to do with us, because they already know who we are as soon as we enter the branch. Okay, so all this is in order to try to have a better experience, a better customer experience, and as Jorge said, even for the employees of the branch to have a more efficient processes. Okay.
But we are right now only focusing on branches, but there are other sectors that in banking that we can also apply this Internet of Things or this banking of things. For example, insurance. Insurance is a really, really part of the banking business. Imagine, and in fact, the big techs are also moving on this on the insurance sector. I mean, imagine that you could create a product that, depending on the information that you send with your devices, imagine if you go to run every day, or you do some sports 4 days per week, or you walk a number of steps daily, you get a reduce on your prime. Okay, so that could be also great. Why not? The thing is, and in fact, we are working on this with our business departments. Okay, and the thing is, we need to analyze this very well, because, and this is something really, really funny. I mean, sometimes if people start to do some kind of workouts because they want to get a decrease in their prime, what could happen is that they could start to have more health issues that they had when they didn't do any kind of workout. Heart attacks, problems with your legs, your back, whatever. So at the end, that could not be a good product. So it's really complicated to find exactly the right product and the right benefits that it could return to business and also to the user, to the customer.
Yeah. Another example would be, as Jorge said, the mortgages, another banking product. We could also leverage the use of Internet of Things, all this information that we can gather to improve the product we are offering to our customers. Here, I'm sure we have listened to we have here the concept of green mortgages, for example. The concept here is that using IoT or using BOT, we are able to offer our customers a more efficient product because it's based on information that is collecting from our own house, behaviors we have within our own house, okay? And all this information can be used in order to make or to offer a better product to our customers. Okay, we know that information is the new gold, and obviously, Internet of Things and banking of things are based on information, and as we said, making the right decisions. Okay.
Adding connectivity to so many devices bring an extra load of challenges. Now, let's leave device compatibility to the engineers. At the end of the day, this is a CX podcast. So the first thing that comes to mind is
security. We have to guarantee that the IoT solutions we implement are secure. At the end of the day, we are sharing data. We are sensible data in most of cases, okay? And we have to be sure that this exchange of information and even the process of that information has to be done in a secure manner, okay? But not just security, because the experts we have at the event, they sort of guarantee us that the technology already is secure. We don't have to worry about the security of the technologies. We have to focus on the, as Jorge mentioned earlier, the value that these solutions can provide to business. But security is one of the challenges, for sure. Another challenge, and Jorge can go into more detail, is the trust that we have to build with our customers with this concept of IoT.
Yeah, this is something that we have discussed internally several times. Is the customers makes the deposit, give us their money. They give us their money, they put it in our accounts, and we keep their money. They trust a lot on those things, which is really important from them. Money, and we give mortgages, so a lot of things. But the thing is, when you come to the point that they have to share with us their biometric patterns, they are really reluctant to do that. They trust a lot on these big tech companies like Samsung, Apple, and when you buy a phone, all of us start to use them with our biometric, and a lot of them, they don't know what really happened with their biometric data. They know they are there, and you don't know. And sometimes you buy in any of these Asian web markets, these new connected plugs, or any device that you install at your home, and you have they're working. Those web cams that you install at your home, that you buy from a Chinese provider, I have one now looking at me, and you don't know what's really happening with your data. But what happens in the end is they have to share with us their biometric patterns. They could feel really reluctant about that. Oh, this is a bank. I don't like banks having my personal data or having my biometric patterns. At the end, we don't have their biometric data because all those systems only work that same kind of pattern. We could, in another session, we could go more in detail about this. But the thing is that they don't trust banks for those things. Although they give us their money, we give them mortgages and all those things, at the end, it's really complicated to get their trust on those things. So this is something that we must change in order to be able to move ahead with all these new solutions.
Yeah, trust is a difficult one.
Yeah.
Very difficult one to solve. I totally understand that, because trust is earned and it's not bought. You can't force trust upon people. It's a very difficult dynamic in every element of society, isn't it? So how have you started to try and overcome that? Is it just by the process of being a trustworthy brand and doing what you say, or have you tried other approaches?
I could say, Greg, here that one of the things you can do to work on that trust, is to explain very well to the customer how this works exactly. I think there are a lot of ideas behind all these biometric, IoT, etc., that could prevent us of going further, because we believe that someone is going to keep information to do with us in a particular location. And I think it's important to explain very well the concept. Education here is very important, as it is always. Okay, we have to try to explain very well to our customers how exactly this works, because possibly if we do that, we are going to be able to gain part of that trust. Okay,
and it's also, I think it's what I say, Javi, is really, really accurate, but I think it's also important that they understand that we want to use those data to improve their user experience. So it's not because the banks want to use those data for anything. That's not the reality of this. The thing is that in order to improve the user experience, we need those data. It's like, obviously, we could still be using, the old PIN in our phones, but no one is doing that anymore. Well, some people will be doing it, okay? But it's not the normal way to use that now. So that's also really important. It's not only part or a problem with the customer. It's also, we need to look inside us and say, we need to provide a good user experience, so the user wants to provide those data to get those new functionalities. Imagine that if you go to an ATM, you can use your finger vein to get money, a PIN and your finger vein. For me, that would be great. So I want to provide with the bank my finger vein pattern, so I can make use of these new functionalities. So coming to the point that we have said before, what is really important is the value. If we provide value to our customers, they will want to use these technologies. And in fact, Greg, that the banks, I think that they are probably the most regulated companies that exist in the world. So you cannot imagine that if we start to provide those services, we are going to be 100% sure that we accomplish with all the different legal things that could be. Imagine that we do it in Spain, in the European Union, and if we move to UK, in this case, with the UK regulation, so they can trust us much more, probably, than many other companies.
Our experience when we talk to employees or customers or non-customers about what this could provide them, what could this IoT or BOT do for them, when you talk to them, as you said, with transparency and upfront, they really see the benefit of this, and they are up for it. Okay, I think there is a real feeling of this is good for us, or could be good for us, so let's explore it. Okay, that was one of the ideas we had behind the event. Okay, we want to explore this and break walls and explain what it is exactly.
And in fact, there is also one thing that we have not said is this will improve security. Security is better if you use this kind of security accesses, this kind of biometric systems. The security is better. So it's not only that it will provide new features, no, it's that it is even more secure.
Because adoption of IoT is such a massive opportunity that requires expertise, strong leadership, technical talent, the company came up with a brilliant idea. Let's invite everyone to a 2-day event where we can all share our knowledge and benefit from it.
As I mentioned at the introduction, we are now part of the Center of Excellence. our normal activity would be to deliver end-to-end solutions to our customers, okay, based on mature technologies and frameworks and methodologies. But another part of our job has to be to explore new concepts, new technologies, that anything that we think as a center of excellence that could help improve our processes, okay, within Santander. As part of that, we thought last year that it would be a good idea to organize a 2-day event to talk about Internet of Things, but obviously focus in banking, okay? So that's what we call the event Banking of Things Forum, where the main idea was to get together the technological, the techie guys and the business guys within Santander to talk and discuss about IoT, BOT, okay, and see where we are at the moment, see what exactly is being done out there, outside Santander to do with IoT, see what we are doing, if we are doing something to do with IoT, and how this could help in the future, okay. We were lucky enough to have not just professionals within Santander from United Kingdom, Portugal, or USA, for example, but also we were able to have people that are a reference and in this IoT area from companies as important as Microsoft, Amazon, etc. Okay, entity data. I don't want to forget any. Okay, we also have at the end of the event a little time for talk about metaverse and how this could or is changing our lives and the way our working days are going to be in a very near future. For us, Greg, we have to say it was a massive experience to get together technology and business for these 2 days, talking about these concepts, seeing presentations, as I said, very valuable presentations. We were able to have a clear picture of what exactly is being done using IoT outside our company, but also the possibilities of IoT within our company. There was a lot of expectation about the event. So we will have, hopefully next year, we will have a second edition, because I think that the feedback has been quite positive about the event. So, and Jorge said, you're invited to be part of the next event, because I'm sure that you will be a lot of things to say, and you can participate in the forums we have to discuss, as we are doing here today, to talk about this concept.
And in fact, this is an online event, so you can do it as you're doing right now.
Oh, okay, fantastic. Yeah. I love the idea of when you have events. The biggest thing that I find is it comes out of events is when you have multiple people talking on a subject. Something happens in that moment that is almost hard to explain, but there's an old saying, when you have like 4 people speaking, there are 4 people speaking, but there are 5 brains at work, and the 5th brain is the combination of all 4. And I've always loved that theory, and I've always believed in it, because there is something unique about when people get together, whether it's virtually or in person. When people do get together with a shared topic and goal, some incredible things can happen. And I guess that is what forums are about. Yeah. That's what events are about.
Yeah. Totally agree.
So, yeah, I've always loved that.
Considering that retail footfall is steadily going down and banks across the world are closing branches as a consequence, let's conceptualize what can the bank's physical space offer to people, and what role IoT plays in the offering.
My opinion, and the opinion of many of the experts we have at the event, is that the branch will not disappear. Okay, in the next coming years, the branch is to remain. Okay, because it is offering value to some part of the population, and it will keep doing that. But what we have to do, and it's already been done, and Santander I think is a clear example of it, the branch has to reinvent itself. Okay, we have to forget the idea of the traditional branch as we know it. Okay, and we have to do the branch to make that the branch would be a more collaborative way, space, physical space, to get together people, not just bank and customers or non-customers, but even we have to promote networking within our branches. We have to promote, as we said earlier, education about the new ways of doing things. The branch is a perfect place to get together our customers and explain to them concepts that we think are relevant to the new branch. So, my opinion, the branch has to remain. That's why we are here trying to explore new ideas for the branch, the physical space, okay? But obviously, it's a reality that many people are not going to the branch and are doing anything that they need using different channels, okay? But the branch is another channel. We have to give him value and we have to fight for it, okay?
I think just to add something to what Javi has said before, as he has said, the branch is going to stay, but it's going to be a new branch. You know, with all these new apps, banking apps, where you can do all your usual transactions from your home or from wherever you are, we need to reconvert the branch to a different thing. And it's something that, in this case, Santander Bank and some other banks have created a new type of branch, and the idea is that the user or the customer doesn't go to the branch because they have to. It's because they want to. I don't know if you have ever been in a work cafe, but no. Well, I think it's amazing if you go, because even for me, the first time that I went, I say, come on, this is a Starbucks. It's quite different. It's true. You know, it's a mix between a branch and a work center. So even if you are not a customer, you can go there and you can sit in one desk, use the Wi-Fi, and work from them. If you want to go and get a coffee, you get, and you stay there, and you can be working. It doesn't matter if you're a customer or not. And the idea is you have some meeting rooms, okay? You can book them, depending if you're a customer or not. I don't know exactly the rules, okay? But the thing is that the branch should also help our customers to improve their business. Imagine, I work and I am Santander Bank, okay? Customer. And I want to go to the branch because I need to have a meeting with a customer, and I don't have any place to do it. I can book one of the meetings that are there in the branch, and I can have my meeting with my own customers there, okay? So the thing is that the branch has changed a lot, and it will change more in the future.
The country that immediately appears in your mind when it comes to IoT is China. China's IoT connection contribute to 30% of the global total. We can say that China is shaping this transformation, but can we apply what they're doing in other countries?
Well, about now that you mentioned China, within the event, there was someone, a speaker, that he talked about his own experience. He's an architect, and he has been working in China for a period of time. And the branches that are now being built in China are these places where you actually want to be. You feel really comfortable to be because you have all the facilities. They are really thinking in the customer. They are very customer centric. Okay, it's not just a place to go to do some banking transaction, but also it's a place where you can go and feel very comfortable, okay, and do, as Jorge mentioned, a number of different activities, okay? So in China, as you said, is one of the places, Asia is one of the places where Internet of Things is valued a lot, okay? And I would like to back to the concept of connected branch, okay? Where we have to go is to a concept or a scenario where all this information should help us to build a much better experience for our customer. That he should be able to go to the branch and have that experience, that he's actually enjoying the experience and doing what he wanted to do with the branch. Okay. This trend that we have in Asia, maybe, or this how deep is IoT in Asia, for example. Hopefully, we will see it in Europe. It depends on many factors. We mentioned security, we mentioned regulation, we mentioned trust. I think there are still many, not physical, but logical barriers that we need to fight against. Okay. But I am optimistic about it. I think that, as Jorge mentioned a couple of times during the podcast, the important is the value we can offer. And I think IoT can provide a lot of value. So we will have to go for it, definitely.
Depending on the country, not the same product can be suitable for each country. For example, in a car insurance, in USA, the primes are really, really high. Or in UK, when I bought my first car there in UK, I say, come on, why do I have to pay so much money for my car insurance? And it's quite different because it goes on you, not on your car. In Spain, if you get an insurance car, each one that runs or drives your car is covered. Okay, but in UK not. If any other people is going to use or person is going to use your car, you have to do a different or a prime to your insurance coverage. Okay, so the thing is that we were talking the other day in our bank with some people that is in charge of the insurance department, and the thing is that if we use that product of this tool in our country, the amount of the prime is so low that we will never get any benefit. But if you go to USA or you go to UK, as the primes are so high, you can do this time of discount. So that product will be suitable for UK or USA, but will never be useful for Spain because we cannot get any profit even doing a discount. I don't know if it has sense.
Totally. That does make a lot of sense. I think that's a great example there of how trends evolve worldwide for many different reasons. It's not just as simple as everyone will use banking of things in the same way. And like you say, in certain countries, if we bring it back to the banking of things, technology like Internet of Things and these sort of methodologies, they might play out in different value propositions for different countries. So one country or one market might see more benefit in the day-to-day operations versus the customer experience.
Lastly, the most trending topic in the banking industry, just like in all other, is sustainability. How is IoT contributing to building sustainable solutions?
IoT is a great thing for sustainability to create sustainable applications and sustainable solutions. We all have heard about intelligent buildings, where all the information that is being gathering from the normal activity of the building is being used to make it more efficient, to turn off lights, etc., etc. Okay, the same concept we mentioned earlier. The green mortgages is another example where we can see that we can help not just the pocket of our customers, but also we can help the environment. We can make sustainable solutions. Okay. Definitely sustainability and was a topic that we saw in our event. There was some speakers that gave some very interesting speeches about how IoT can help sustainability. Anything that you can do gathering information to create more efficient processes in order to help the environment has to be important here. We have, for example, I would like to have an example that happened this weekend in Spain. We have the La Vuelta. La Vuelta is our cycling competition, annual competition. We have sort of like the Tour, if you know it in France, for example. Well, La Vuelta is around Spain. And we had a news in the papers this weekend that the cars following the cyclists where they had IoT devices in order to see how the drivers were doing their job behind the cyclists. Okay, how the way behaving, they were driving, etc., etc., to gather that information and to make it more efficient for the environment. Okay, this is an example, but we have so many. Okay.
Well, if we try to come back to banking, as Javi has said at the beginning, the green mortgages is a product that a lot of people is talking about, but right now, as far as we know, it's not really there. Banks offer some type of discounts depending on some check that could happen on your house. I don't know if you have there in UK. It's a energetic certificate that we have to get. You also have to get there. Okay, so depending in that certificate, you could get a small discount in your mortgage. Okay, but the thing here is quite different because, as we have said at the beginning, is that where's the value here? I mean, there is no return of investment for banking. I mean, if we foster that you use green energies, what is the benefit for the bank? Because we have said before, the primes in Spain are really, really tight. So here, there should be a change in mind of the companies. We are all impacted by the sustainability issues, and mainly right now, that I think it was today. Today, Russia has stopped stop sending gas by these gasoduct systems. So it's not only an economic issue. The thing is that we should all the companies, big ones, small ones, should try to foster the use of these energies. So perhaps sometimes there is not an economic return, there is not an economic value, but I think this is something that all, in our small part or big part, we say to foster, and banks also could have a big part on this.
There are many things you can do, Valentina. I'm now just remembering something that is quite simple, but it has its impact on sustainability. If we are able, as we said earlier, to ID ourselves using our body, we will be able maybe one day to avoid all these cards or this plastic we are using to identify ourselves and our account numbers and etc. etc. So everything counts in order to make a more sustainable world. And I would say IoT has its own place on this and can help us a lot as well.
Yeah, and even if you don't have to take your car to go to the branch, or you move only to one branch and you don't have to move to another one, in some way you are being ecological because you are spending less fuel or whatever.
I hope you enjoyed listening to the podcast. If you did, don't forget to like, share, comment, or subscribe to the podcast on your preferred channel. If you enjoyed what Jorge and Javier were talking about, feel free to connect with them on LinkedIn. Enjoy rapid fire questions. That's it from me. I will see you in 2 weeks. And by the way, this podcast is sponsored by ACF Technologies, global leaders in customer experience management solutions. My first question is, beach or mountains?
What's beach or mountains?
Sorry.
Beach or mountains? Beach or mountains? What do you prefer?
Beach
or
mountains?
Oh, sorry.
No.
Definitely beach.
Come on, you're from Canary Islands, so what could you say?
Being from the Canaries, that question is simple for me. Beach.
If you want to start again, do it again, Valentina. Sorry, we have
Sorry about that.
we have explored your question. Surprise, Javi, surprise again.
Okay. Second question. Text messages or voice messages?
Text messages.
Text messages.
Pepperoni pizza or cheese pizza?
Oh, pepperoni.
Cheese pizza.
Rocky Beach or Sandy Beach?
Sandy Beach. Definitely.
Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, or other?
Real Madrid.
Other.
So Javier, who is the other? You said other. Who do you support?
Are we still recording or?
No, we don't. We don't.
I'm a Barcelona fan.
Ah.
And if I have to choose,
we actually said,
to choose, obviously it would be Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, that's the reason. They always have the same problem. They do not support a team. They are
No. I support Barcelona.
No, they are counter Real Madrid. It doesn't matter if Cadiz, Arsenal, Manchester United. It doesn't matter.
Greg, you were going to say something about that? You said.
No, I was going to say, when we were talking about the rapid fire questions, we come up with the idea Real Madrid versus Atletico Madrid. And we said, we spoke to Antonio, obviously our colleague in Spain, and he said, they'll probably say Barcelona as well. So he said it will either be one of the three. So that's why I had to ask: what's the third one? And you said, Barcelona.
To be honest with you, I was also thinking in my home team. Okay, from the Canaries.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a small team. They never win anything. It's second division. Okay, I was actually also thinking on that. Okay. Yeah. I prefer to say that than Real Madrid or Atletico Madrid. They have so many supporters around the world. But my final answer is other. Okay. I want to leave it like that. Okay.